At this time, I will call to order the Stillwater Economic Development Authority meeting for July 24th, 2023. Trustees, motions, comments, action on the consent docket.
Motion to approve the consent docket.
Second.
We have a motion and a second to approve consent. Please vote. Consent docket is approved with a vote of 5-0. Next up, our Chamber of Commerce Quarterly Economic Development Report from Reagan Mitchell.
Hi. How are you all?
Good.
Good. I've been here for almost a year, and it's the first time that I'm standing in front of you all at the Horseshoe. I'm sorry. It's not by avoidance at all, just luck. So I get to report to you all today for quarter 3 of 2023, what the Chamber has been up to in the vein of economic development. For the sake of transparency, Elaine and I have adopted the policy of responding to you all with efforts related to economic development within the contract agreement. It makes it easier for us to make sure that we're meeting the deliverables that were outlined in the contract, and hopefully, I'm not reading it on your end, so please let me know if this is not the case. It makes it easier for you all to tell if we are meeting the deliverables in a sufficient way. I have a section at the end of the presentation for comments or questions or feedback, but I would like to take you briefly through this slides deck presentation to tell you a little bit about what has been going on this quarter at the Chamber. First of all, thank you for trusting us. This contract, newly enacted in July, is a huge value add to the Chamber. I love what I do through the Chamber, and I'm able to do what I do because of you all trusting the Chamber to conduct the work of economic development on behalf of the city, so thank you. So like I said, this is a condensed report, kind of talking about the big highlights within that document that was sent over last week that goes bullet by bullet through the outlined agreement. So big highlights at the state level. We submitted this quarter on Project Kazaa, which was a project that came down through the State Department of Commerce. The site selection group was specifically interested in the Armstrong facility, which I know is high priority for us, getting that filled, making it less likely that it sits vacant for a long time, because that you get into building use issues if that happens. And so another submission on the Armstrong facility. Last quarter, we submitted economic impact analysis with the state projects that came down the pipeline. We asked for one of those with Project Kazaa, but they have not provided enough information just on the project level to provide an economic impact analysis that would be accurate. What I can tell you is that this project represents 482 new potential jobs at or above the base salary range. So that's amazing. Also, I can't tell you too much for the sake of privatization and what the Department of Commerce says we can share, but it is a manufacturing facility that's compatible with other things going on in the community. So I will say that. It would be a really attractive partner to what we have happening out at Rare Earth. Total, the Armstrong facility is in consideration for 2 state projects. Last quarter, I gave you details about a project called Project Mayflower. That project was lost by the state in consideration. Operation costs, things like that, things that other states can incentivize were found to be more favorable. So we lost Project Mayflower as a state. And then also a fun state update is that the Chamber was invited to speak on a panel by the Oklahoma City Regional Partnership at this year's Select Oklahoma Economic Development Conference. And so that's some really great traction and awareness and involvement on the Stillwater side, and hoping to represent us well as a part of the Oklahoma City Regional Partnership. Big highlights continued. The Chamber is moving forward. Elaine's predecessor and people who preceded me on the economic development side submitted an application for roughly 1,000 acres west of the airport for a program called the Oklahoma Targeted Opportunities Program. What this is the Department of Commerce pairs communities with site selectors outside of the community that then, through the process of RFI data collection and also eventually an in-person site visit, provide us with data-driven recommendations for infrastructure developments, workforce strategies, and recruitment efforts to industries that are relevant to the land that we've posed. So we've decided to work with a group called the Site Selection Group based out of Greenville, South Carolina. We've had preliminary discussions with them. Brady has been a part of those, Lauren with the electric utility, Melissa, and Elaine was a part of the interview process with me. We ended up going with them because they make recommendations based on infrastructure and workforce, which we thought would be the two most necessary elements to look at when we're looking at that land out by the airport with the coming construction of the terminal and the communication tower. One really amazing part of this program is that the costs of it are fully reimbursed by the Department of Commerce. So we will write them a check for the services that the site selection group provides, and then once we've submitted a receipt that shows that we paid them, they will fully reimburse us. And this also opens us up to funding opportunities for infrastructure developments that we're not able to get access to without participating in programs like this. So it's very exciting and very timely, especially with the coming construction of the terminal. BRE, so the hub. You guys are aware, the town is aware, and the Stillwater Facebook community page is aware that we closed on the hub and the land use development with the hub in May of this year. I would like to tell you all that the hub has selected an architecture group based out of Tulsa to work with. They're in negotiations with them on price, nailing down the finalities on that. They have groups coming in for interviews for the general contracting GM portion of that project starting the first week of August. So we're on track for the groundbreaking that we projected, which was late fall, once we get rolling on the architectural renderings. And Brady and the city so graciously has been involved with all of our recruitment efforts with the hub. And so, yeah, they will be involved from the beginning. Anything that we get architectural rendering wise will immediately go to Brady and council for approval and recommendation. Business retention visits in that same vein. This quarter were paid to Frontier Lanes and the team out there. The chamber, and I'll say this, and this will be what I will say, is committed to being a listening ear and a compassionate voice for the businesses that might be affected in an adverse way because of the coming of this development. We're excited about the tribe's presence in our community, kind of in the vein of Block 34. We believe that this is a value add for quality of life in our community, but we also recognize that there are hallmark businesses in our community that might be affected in a way that's not directly positive by the presence of something like this, and we are committed to listening to that and to hearing that out and to doing whatever we can do on our side to promote traction in business to those business owners. And then lastly, the Chamber and Meridian Technology Center are working together to create like small business programming. That's one of the things outlined in the CETA agreement, is that we provide small business programming and programming for people that are in the ideation and imagination phase of their entrepreneurship journey. We're calling it Small Business University. It will be a 6-week program spanning 12 weeks that goes through all of the things related to small business ownership, from LLC versus Corp to financing to marketing to defining your target demographic and target audience. Starting in September, that program will run through December. And it will help participants develop a full-fledged business plan with the ability to win money related to startup through the Chamber's preferred membership fund. And so that's really exciting. We'll get to pitch that to the board on Thursday officially, but it's a really exciting partnership with Meridian and makes sense with what they have going on out at the business incubator. To welcome those prospective business people into our community and into the chamber. So we're excited about that partnership. And then lastly, this is a big thing, and Dawn has been a tremendous value add on this project for us as she's been with the city website. I don't know the last time that any of you tried to navigate the economic development website that's hosted by the chamber. It's pretty hard to navigate. And so one of the things moving forward that was priority for Elaine and I was to make it a resource for site selectors and for commercial realtors and for citizens, all under the banner of Grow Stillwater, which is in line with the branding and verbiage and communications that are coming out on the city side. So I wanted to show you, we're working with Bearden Services on this project, and I wanted to show you, they've designed a homepage with the search bar and the drop-down menus. It is not a full-fledged website, but we do have a hard launch date goal of September 1st. So hopefully next time I'm in front of you guys, I will have a fully working website to show you. I think. Yeah, that's great. We love it when technology does what it's supposed to do. Okay, so this is what we're going to be working with. A much cleaner design, wide screen, pop-down menus. So starting here, we have this home screen. I will work with Rob Hill with SEMA to get drone footage that's Stillwater specific. This is just a stock to show you guys what it will be once it's fleshed out. No, it's not. It looks like Stars Hollow, very Gilmore Girls-esque, but it is not Stillwater. We similarly have a chat bot that will go to an email that people can specifically ask questions related to economic development. That will be linked here, as well as all of our socials. And we don't have a Stillwater Economic Development LinkedIn, so I'll have to give that point of feedback, but all of our socials are linked up there as well. So Grow Stillwater, that is terminology that we agreed to use for activities related to economic development. So this will be a business stats and facts page. So all things related to utilities rates, cost of operation, competitively, possibility that we might subscribe to a third-party data provider. It's really difficult to keep data relevant and timely, updating it on the back end, and there are data providers that will maintain all of that stuff on the back end as an extension of your website. So that's something that we're looking at as well. This will outline incentives that are available through the city, but again, we take the position that incentives aren't ours to promise, they're just ours to put out there, working really closely with Melissa and Brady and relevant parties when we're working with prospective business owners in promising incentives, but those will be detailed on this page. We think it's important, especially in view of what we just heard from Steve Irby, to highlight how entrepreneur-friendly we really are in this community, how many examples we have of people that started as small businesses in Stillwater that have grown into these large-scale operations, Kicker, Stan Clark companies, just to name a few. So we wanted to have a section on our economic development website that highlighted the stories of those people. And then vision, which in shorthand is vision, but in longhand is now and next. Developments that are happening right now, and then things that we hope to see moving forward, not aspirational, but vision-oriented, right? Where are we going? What do we want to see? What projects are in line with where we see Stillwater going in the long term? This will be a properties widget provided to us through the regional partnership that we have with Oklahoma City, that eventually commercial realtors and realtors will be able to have a login provided to them where they can then self-select and upload properties that they have available. We're hoping that this will cut out a little bit of that awkward middleman tendency of people not knowing what's available in Stillwater and commercial realtors not knowing where to put it other than LoopNet and their sites. And so we'll have a widget on the chamber website where realtors can choose to, if they'd like, to house their available properties and any of the specs and information that people might want to know. These are business resources, so our regional partnership with the city, community partners, funding opportunities, anything that has to do with the Department of Commerce or the Oklahoma Finance Authority. We have many wonderful, actually local colleagues that work in those fields, and so being able to list their information, and then small businesses. This is anything related to small businesses. So Small Business Association, SBA, the Riata Center for Business Development, the SBDIC in the West Watkins Center, Meridian Technology Business Incubator, and then Chamber Small Business Programming. So anything that Maggie, my colleague, the Membership Development Coordinator, anything that she puts on, SBU, our partnership with the Meridian Business Incubator, and then this is specifically for commercial realtors if they have anything that they want to list, almost like a news board they can put this on for small business owners. And then inside CETA, again, we're moving to a place where we're trying to prioritize transparency and understandability for us and also for our citizens to know what the chamber is and what CETA is and what agreement we have outlined with you all. And so we have a page where we'll outline what CETA is in the most basic terms that we can. And then the team, a highlight of the team on the chamber and city side, so that people know who to get into contact with for things related to economic development. I'll show you this homepage. It has really nice scrollability, a brief CETA definition. I'll pull a quote from Elaine about the value eventually. It's not that right now. Right now it's a definition of lorem ipsum, but eventually it'll be a really beautiful quote from Elaine about the value add that economic development is to the chamber. A prompt to connect with us via social, just to see what the chamber is doing in general. A map that shows our location and how we're connected in relation to the rest of this the country, and then more prompts to get in touch with us, to follow us, and then links related to just general contact for the chamber. So yeah, that said, we want that economic development website to be a resource, a navigatable resource where people can get on it and know what properties are available for development, land is available for development, and what we can do on the chamber and city side to aid and assist in business development and growth. So that leads me to the question and feedback portion of my presentation.
Thank you, Reagan.
Yeah.
Trustees, questions?
Great presentation of everything you all are doing.
Thank you.
And just a compliment on reaching out to Frontier Lanes. I think that's really important because as much as we like the new businesses coming in, they do have an impact on existing businesses. So I think that's great that y'all taken the initiative to reach out to them.
Thank you. Yeah, that I owe a lot of that to Elaine. She always says, business expansion, economic development is recruiting new people, but also taking care of the people that you already have here, as is evidenced by the Purchase on Purchase program and other things that the chamber is doing right now. And so, we just hope that is a precedent that we really do care about the existing business community and want to be of assistance in any way that we can moving forward, no matter how much we grow, which we hope to a lot.
Well, I like the format of the report. I like lining them up with the contract deliverables, that sort of thing. I think that's really good, and I appreciate the detailed information that you provided.
Absolutely.
Along with the highlights. I'm really excited about what you guys are doing and the initiatives you have, and I've heard lots of good things from other folks about your business visits and the work that you all are doing. So keep it up. Appreciate you being here.
Thank you so much.
Thanks,
That's
Reagan.
all. Thank you.
All right. Any reports from the officers of the board? Is there a motion to adjourn? So moved.
Second.
We have a motion and a second to adjourn CETA. Please vote. With a vote of 5-0, Stillwater Economic Development Authority is now adjourned, and that concludes our meetings for the evening.